Let's take a look at some of the other apps that are built into macOS. First, let's look at TextEdit. TextEdit is a simple word processor, but it is all that you need in most cases. You can use it in two different modes. The rich text mode has all of these options here for formatting text, and you can switch to plain text mode to just have a basic text editor. You could also go into settings and set which one is the default. Then you could just type in here and use some of the basic word processing functions. You can do all the basics here. I'll select all the text. I'll make it larger. I can select some like this. I can make it bold. I can center text. I can do all of that basic stuff and save in a standard format. It saves in rich text format, which can be opened by just about any word processing app on any platform. Or if it's a plain text file, it will save as a TXT file, just a plain text file, which definitely could be opened on any platform. This creates small files and it's great for taking notes or writing without much distraction. In addition, you can import documents from various different apps, such as doc files. So for instance, here's a Microsoft Word doc, and you can see how I can open it in TextEdit and get to the text inside. Not all the formatting is kept there, but at least I could read the text. Preview is an app that you probably know of because if you double click on a PDF file, it will open up in Preview. So Preview is both a PDF viewer and an image viewer. And you can read a PDF very easily here. You also can fill out PDF forms. You can even do things like mark up or sign a PDF. So most of the things that you might think you need to use Adobe Reader for, you can actually use the Preview app. Even if you want to mark something up so that you can send notes to somebody, you can do that using just the Preview app. Preview app is also what you get if you just double click on an image in the Finder. It just opens up Preview by default. And it's kind of in a different mode. You're viewing images now rather than a PDF. So you still have some tools. You can still draw on the image there and you can still do various things like take a selection like that. If you copy a selection from here or anywhere, then you can always go to File, New from Clipboard and create a new image file like that with what is in your clipboard. You can even go to Tools and adjust color or size so you could change the exposure or something like that of an image file. You can resize it to a certain number of pixels if you want, all using the Preview app. It's an extremely useful tool that you should get to know. The News app is a news reader for your Mac that will pull news articles from various sources. So it's kind of got a front page like a newspaper, but you could also go into various topics. So for instance, if you just want to see science news, you could search for science and come up with stories. There's also a topic there. So anything tagged as science by Apple News will appear here. You can also look for specific sources like this, and you could see channels here. So if you have a favorite television station or newspaper or magazine, you can search for it and just view the articles from that one source. And it creates a really nice environment for reading articles in here. And you can save things, share them from here. You can highly customize what sources you have here on the left. So if there's a particular type of news you don't want to see, you can just basically add all the sources you do want to your favorites here, whether it's a topic or an actual newspaper or TV station or something, and then just view those. So you can turn it into a science or technology news reading app rather than a general one if you want. It's really up to you what sources are shown in here, and you can thumbs up and thumbs down articles to give it a better idea of the type of things that you want to see. In general, it's a nicer environment to read news than, say, a website, which might be filled with ads and navigation elements and all sorts of distractions. There's also a Stocks app. And the Stocks app is very similar to the News app, except it's business oriented. And what you're going to do is add symbols or search for stock symbols here, and then you get stories based on them. So for instance, you could search for a symbol like this, go to it, you'll see a chart and other information. You also see news stories for that. Then you could add that symbol or any symbol you want to your symbols if you want. And then you'll see it here in the list, so you could easily jump to the companies that you're the most interested in and see news and financial information for that company. There's an app on your Mac called Voice Memos, and this allows you to record quick voice memos. Just hit the record button, you talk, and it records your voice there. You can stop it and then done. You can go in and name the recording. You can play it back. One of the useful things you can do is you can go in and select skip silence. So if you record yourself talking and you have long pauses, you can automatically have those skipped when you play it back. The most useful thing about Voice Memos is, like with a lot of other things, it syncs flawlessly with the Voice Memos app on your iPhone. So you can record a voice memo on your iPhone while on the go, and then find the recording right here in the list on your Mac when you get back to your Mac and play it back there. You can also take a recording like this and drag it out, and it will become a standard audio file. So you can use this as a way to record things and then use it later in other apps as an audio file. I mentioned before how if you double click on a PDF it opens up Preview. Same for images. If you double click on a video file it will open up QuickTime Player. QuickTime Player is the standard video player that comes with your Mac. It allows you to play back videos. You get a little timeline here at the bottom and you can move around. And you can also use this to record videos. You can create a new movie recording that will use the camera on your Mac. A new audio recording will just use the microphone, and a new screen recording will screen grab from your Mac with audio if you like. You can also export from here in different formats. Not a ton of formats. It's not a professional level tool, but you can compress it a little bit if you want. There's also a great tool here for trimming video. You can go to trim and trim a little off the beginning, a little off the end, and save it. You can even go further than that because you can add a clip to the end and merge some videos. And you can do other things as well. If you go to View, Show Clips, it'll highlight all of this, and you could take the red line here, the playback head, and do various things, like for instance split the clip right there and then move the playback head somewhere else and split the clip again. Take just that middle section and remove it. So it's actually a little mini video editing tool as well if you don't want to go into iMovie just to do a quick edit. Your Mac has a Maps tool, and you can go into that. It'll give you a globe or use your current location, and you can zoom in like you want, change how the map looks. Click there. You can go to, say, from exploration to driving, for instance. And you can use this to get directions if you want and pick a to and a from location. A new feature for maps in macOS Ventura is the ability to have multiple stops. And you could have it for walking directions or transit directions or biking directions for most locations. You could search here and go to a location like this. And then you can zoom in with the button down here. There's even a 3D view like this where you actually see 3D buildings and terrain. Then you could drag here at the bottom right. You can rotate around. If you switch to satellite view, it'll actually map surfaces. So you get like a 3D view that you can manipulate. It's pretty detailed with traffic and road markings. So I'll take away the 3D view here, go to driving view there, and you can see crosswalks and lanes and all sorts of things. The more you zoom in, the more detail that you'll get. So of course the Maps app on your iPhone allows you to use this for directions while on the go. On your Mac you can use it more for planning. and going in and taking a look around and planning your drive or walk or ride on public transit. There's a calculator app on your Mac, and it's one of many ways that you can do calculations. And it looks simple at first. And you can just click the keys here with the pointer, but you could also use the keys on your keyboard. And that's the same with using things like plus and minus and equals. You can do that on the keyboard as well as here. It looks pretty simple, but there's actually a lot of functionality here. You can do conversions and convert a number to either currency or different types of units. Under View you can go to a scientific calculator or a programming calculator with all sorts of extra functionality. You can even do reverse Polish notation. You can open up a paper tape window and then all the calculations you do will then appear in the paper tape. So you have a list of calculations. At any time you can do Command C to copy the result that's in here. You can also use the delete key on your keyboard to remove a digit, which is something you can't do on a regular calculator. The FaceTime app on your Mac allows you to place video or audio calls just as you would with FaceTime on an iPhone or an iPad. So you can easily create a new FaceTime or start this from the Contacts app and then talk to somebody using your webcam. Other apps you want to familiarize yourself with are the Photos app, which allows you to take your photos, organize them, edit them, and view them. There are 3 Office style apps here. Pages for word processing, Numbers, which is a spreadsheet app, and Keynote, which is a presentation app. You can also download from Apple apps like GarageBand for creating music and editing audio, and iMovie, which is a free video editor. All those apps that I just mentioned are free. If you don't have them on your Mac already, you can go to the App Store and download them. They're from Apple, not a third-party developer. And they're definitely great things to have on your Mac. Even if you don't do too much in terms of video editing or music, they are fun apps to play with and you may find a use for them occasionally.